Today, just a few thoughts about seeing beyond, as you can see the title of this talk. Seeing beyond the visible, seeing beyond what's obvious. We all fall into this temptation of going with first impressions, um, quick judgment into what we may perceive people uh, mean and do. Um, Seeing beyond that outer shell. And as you all have heard from the gospel this morning, is that about the famous story of the sinful woman that was labeled by everyone. She was known in the city that she was a sinful woman. And the Pharisee, who was also known as a righteous person, and a Pharisee, he is a person who knows the law, who obeys the law, and who lives by the law. And because of that, sometimes the community give him the right to judge those who are not following the law. Um, so just, I hope that this morning will open our eyes into what we all share because of our broken human nature, that we are so quick to judge. I made just a very simple comparison between that woman who was labeled sinful or a sinner and that self-righteous Pharisee. And self-righteous, it means that he justifies himself by what he thinks he's doing good. And because he is following the law, so he looks in the mirror and he sees nobody else and he sees himself as a good man. So this sinful woman was full of doings. And that person who proclaimed that he was obeying the law, he was just full of big talk. He was just a big mouth. So that sinful woman, she heard that Jesus was in town, in this person's house. She didn't say anything because she judged herself first. And when I judge myself first, when I look in the mirror and I see that I need salvation, I need repentance, I need mercy more than anyone else, I can really talk, but I can do. So this woman went, she washed Jesus' feet with her honest and warm tears. She wiped them with her hair, she gave all, and she kissed them and poured perfume on them. And then she said nothing. Her acts and her repentance were much more heard and felt than the Pharisee. What did the Pharisee do? He made a big dinner. He invited everyone, and he invited Jesus, and he started to brag about him and invited Jesus. And then once this woman came into his house, and she did what she did, he said to himself. And this is what we all share, that we say many things to ourselves. And most of them are about other people. In this act, he judged Christ and the woman. He said that if he were a prophet, he would know who is touching him. And also he touched, and then he judged the woman, what kind of woman she is, that she is a sinner. When we talk to ourselves, when we do not see beyond the first impression, we do two things. We judge God and we judge the person. And he will tell me, how come we're judging God? We can't judge God. We don't judge God. We don't dare to judge God. No, we do. Because every time you judge that person, you judge the image of God. you judge the image of Christ that this person is created for. We know theoretically, biblically, we know this very basic Sunday lesson. We are all created on the image of God. And we say it, and sometimes we repeat it to our kids. But in practice, we seldom think about that. And we are quick to judge the person and say, how God can stand those people, right? Sometimes we say that. I wish that God can send fire and just burn those people who are messing up the whole world, right? We do that. We do that. And sometimes we blame God. How come He allows such people to live on earth? How God would allow these people to serve in His church? We do that. And the big problem is that we hide behind our self-righteousness. That we think we are doing what's right. We think we know the law. We think we know the church and the Bible. And because of that, we put ourselves higher than other people. But that woman, silently, repentantly, she felt her own need for mercy. And she looked to no one except herself. And silently and worshipfully, in worship, in true spirit of worship, she came and she cried and she poured the perfume on His feet. I wish and I hope and I pray every Sunday that when we come to worship, we will come to worship in this spirit. Not the spirit of being self-righteous, because one of the plagues of being a church goer, a church person, is that we take comfort in us being in the church. We take comfort in us being Christians, born Christians. We got it easy, by the way. We got it very easy. Born Christians, born in the church, from our infant years, we've been taking communion, and just part of us, part of who we are. So when we look in the mirror, we feel good. And when we look around, we feel even more better. Why? Because we're better than those people. And we forget that there's a story behind each person. I'll show you a small clip that I used to show to the some of you who were in high school back then. Maybe those who are graduates now or married now. Back then, like 14 years ago, I showed them a video, and it really made a difference. And I hope that it will make a difference with you. Watch it, and I hope we will be able to see beyond.
Kid, every time I'm pulling out, he's right there. Man, someone needs to talk to his parents if they're ever at home. What is up with the traffic today? It's always, every day, this intersection's always crowded. I hate pulling out of here. I need some of these dumb roads. Oh, there's... Okay, so I'm not even here. Right. Great lady. The princess of parking. Oh, sure. Take the spot. Way to be considerate. Oh, are you kidding me? Unbelievable. Oh.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a great day.
It's about time. Let's see, what do I want?
Yeah, could I add a cookie to that order? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, no problem, only guy in the world. I'm sure you need your cookie. The world, your oyster, and he's serving your cookie.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you so much.
What can I get for you?
Yeah, I'll have a tall decaf macchiato.
Yeah, sure, no problem. $3.85. And it might take a few minutes here. We've got quite a line, obviously, and thanks for your patience.
Great. Yeah, great. Great for me. Winning again. Unbelievable. What? What? What is... What is that? What in the world? Oh, what? What am I supposed to do? How can I do anything about that? Can I even help with that? I don't...
Your copy, sir.
I can't take this anymore. I gotta get out of here.
Hey, watch it.
Sorry, so sorry.
Hey, buddy, come here.
So remember it? Those people were here? Kind of, yeah. um, except, and instead of being so critical and so jumping into conclusions and being annoyed with people and being annoyed with people in our lives and our job and our church and annoyed with the whole world, we need to be sensitive to the needs of everyone. Everyone here has a story. And there's a reason for us, for me, for you acting in a certain way. And to be merciful and to be the image of Christ is to have such mercy on giving space for people. Don't jump into conclusions. I came to this saying from a monk from Mount of Sinai, and you can read it here. There's also read. Orthodox Christians are expected to fast from food before taking Holy Communion. Many people come up and ask the priest for the permission to receive Holy Communion, even though they may have eaten something. And we do this many times. Abuna, I ate something. I took medicine. Can I take communion? We do this in the line. But nobody comes up and asks to receive Holy Communion in spite of the fact that they are judgmental or critical of other people. And if we do this, this puts us in the category of those self-righteous Pharisees. We're so mindful to ask for permission and to watch if we take a medicine, if we eat, or if we take a sip of water before the communion and ask for Abuna's permission. But we fail to do this when we judge, when we criticize, when we call people names that are not true. We don't do that. But we come with all the guts, with all the boldness, and we come and we take communion because this is my right. And I forget that I am judging God in His image, in His creation. My hope for you and for us as a community. Sometimes we talk a lot about being strong community, right? Being spiritual and Christians. But my hope today that we may be a vulnerable community, meaning being vulnerable and not fear to ask for help, not fearing asking for mercy and for forgiveness, and not to fear asking for understanding. If you see someone that is doing or saying something that you can't understand, or it's pushing you to judge him, take a step back and remember this video that people are around us are really suffering, including us, by the way. But we are just too proud to say it, but we are suffering. We may be suffering from a loss, from addiction, from tough relationships. Maybe we have a bad marriage. Maybe we are struggling with our kids, raising them. Maybe someone here lost his job or is trying to find a better job. Or for whatever reason, people act in a certain way because there is a story, there is a reason behind that. Being Christians, being merciful, being Orthodox Christians, it's not just about taking our shoes off when we go to communion or not eating or drinking before communion. No, it's about the true image of Christ when we seek mercy, when we are merciful to other people, and when we also seek growth. And growth doesn't happen without pain, without being vulnerable, without saying, I need help, I'm struggling, I need mercy. So the whole message today, and when we go, excuse me, when we go out and spend the day in our festival and welcome people from the community or welcome people from our community, let's take a step back and appreciate every person we see and try to look beyond the first impression, look beyond what any person from outside may bring. Look beyond the tattoos. Look beyond the weird-looking people. Look beyond the skin color. Look beyond whatever you deem not normal. And try to be Christ. Try to be the image of Christ in extending mercy to those people. And when you do that, you're accepting mercy for your own self, by the way. So let's be vulnerable today. Let's be understanding. Let's be merciful, welcoming, appreciating. Don't be quick to judge because something is different than what you're used to. But take a step back and look at life from a different perspective. To Him all glory forever.